Hey there, positive people. You got Dana here, and I am filming with my iPhone because I broke my Sony again. And for anybody who's been subscribed to the channel since earlier this year, you know this is going to be the second time in like 4 months that I've broken this camera. So I'm pretty sure that the camera is dead. Not dead, but I mean, like, I need a new lens. Like, the lens is beyond repair at this point, and anybody who knows SLRs and mirrorless cameras know that typically the lens is going to be worth more money than the actual body, since that's something that's interchangeable. So for the time being, I'm gonna have to film all of the videos on my iPhone. I just don't have the money to replace it right now. I don't even have the money to get it repaired, and honestly, after having it break on me today, I'm just like super frustrated and over it. But I say all of that to now hop into something way more lighthearted and way more positive. And this video and question was brought to my attention by Patrice. And for the sake of messing up your last name, I'm not going to pronounce it. But Patrice, I want to thank you so much for your comment. I'm going to go ahead and read this out. And she said, and this was in reference to my first vlog out in Seattle, the 75 degrees in Seattle video. She said, glad you got it out into the city today. New subscriber here. I did have a question for your next Q&A. You post a lot about the realness of Seattle and the Seattle freeze. But what are some of the positive things you've experienced? What activities would you recommend? I will be moving out there in 2018 and have visited once. And I basically responded to her about saying that, you know, honestly, this would just be a good video to have on its own. So this isn't really going to be a Q&A video, because I honestly feel like her questions cover what would be a 10-minute Q&A video for me. So I just want to go into it because there's tons of things that about me that have changed as a person because I live out here, and a lot of good things that I've experienced as a result of living here. So we're just going to get into all of those things. First things first, what I will say is I am much more interested in self-betterment now that I am out here in every shape, form, or fashion of the world. Like, I want to live a very minimalistic lifestyle, and I was never like that back home. I was trying to accumulate shit. I was busy trying to accumulate shit, whether it would be my Jordan collection or jewelry or clothing. You know, I was content just having a bunch of crap. And to people that, you know, have a Jordan collection and all that, that's totally cool. I'm just not, again, I'm not in that place in my life anymore. And who knows, the pendulum might swing back to me wanting to do that. But as of right now, like, I'm focused on eating well. I'm focused on reading as much as I can read. I'm focused on taking up hobbies that I never took up because I was too busy interested in other things. A big passion of mine has always been music. I have been able to spend much more time now that I'm out here, and because my focus is on other things, going out to open mics and things like that, and, you know, spending my money taking in like musical experiences rather than, like, I don't know, buying CDs or purchasing singles off iTunes. So one thing that I will say is I feel like because I'm out here, I live more in the moment. And I also feel like because the YouTube channel covers my experience here in Seattle, I'm learning to get out of my shell more and be less, what's the word that I'm looking for? And I always say this when I'm filming in public, that I always feel like self-conscious and bashful about it. But I've always wanted to be the type of person that didn't give a fuck. And I've always been a little anxious and very chicken little about things. So that's just been just good overall. Like, having the YouTube channel coupled with the fact that I'm in a new place where no one knows me has made me just more open to the idea of being open. And that's a good thing. Another good thing is whether, you know, I don't really care about people's opinions on it, but I do like to have, you know, recreational marijuana from time to time. It helps, you know, with sleep. It helps with my appetite sometimes. It's helped with nausea a lot of the time. And it's legal here and readily available, so that's been nice. because I'm someone who does enjoy filming things, and because of how picturesque, Seattle is, and just the Pacific Northwest in general, getting out and about and just filming nature and taking pictures for my Instagram is so much fun. So if you're somebody who enjoys photography, this is the place to be for it. You can find these little nooks and crannies and just get your life taking pictures. And I have a trip coming up that I don't want to tell you guys about. I just want to make a video about them and post them so you can see. But I've got a trip coming up where we're going somewhere that's really pretty, and that's why I'm kind of stressed out about this camera, because it's like I wanted this camera to capture the beauty of this place. So it's fine. What else? Okay, so let's see here. What are some positive things you've experienced? I will say that the woke community is more active and present out here. I don't know, depending on your location in the US, there's a certain vibe of black. I don't want to delve too deeply into this conversation, but y'all know what I'm trying to say without saying it. I don't want to trigger anybody, or I don't want to have this really deep philosophical conversation, but I do feel it's imperative that I don't lose sight of who I am as a person. And as a result of not wanting to lose sight of who I am as a person, I've been making it my business to educate myself more about my community. There are so many things that we don't know about our own history. As an African, that means way more to me. As a second generation African, that means so much to me that I am taking the time to read up on my history and not allow the media and those social studies books from back in the day be what I know about my history. So that's been good. And because of the embrace of cultures here, it's not hard to find African food. It's not hard to find really good food. And speaking of which, in general, Seattle is a damn foodie's dream, okay? I, on a whim, recently decided to go vegan. It wasn't from a moral stance, but the more time that I spend, like I said, reading, it's changing my feelings about meat consumption and stuff like that. Again, another video, not trying to upset anybody with my personal life decisions. But yes, being here and making the transition to veganism was easy because the resources were, here for me. There's way more in the way of shops and stores that cater to that sort of thing. They just made it easy. The transition was easy because the resources are out there. There are people that have paved that way and have made it so easy for people like me who want to take on that lifestyle to take on that lifestyle. And there's so many, like I said, there are literal vegan restaurants all over the place with really good food, and it's not just steamed vegetables with some sauce on the side. That chicken sandwich that I had on Sunday, child, I'm really looking forward to, like I said, eating eating good food. What else? Activities that I would recommend. I love going down to the beach stoned. Sorry, it's pretty fun. Dipping my feet in the water, taking hikes. Again, photography. Obviously, if you're younger and you want to do the party thing, taking an Uber down to a local dive and doing karaoke has always been a lot of fun for me. I sang my way all around last summer and had a blast doing it, and there are a lot of just really cool and interesting bars with tons of character. What I do like about here that's different to back home is back home, it's like all the lounges are meant to kind of look like these big LA clubs where people just stand on tables trying to get their picture taken, whereas here it's like dives and bars and things like that. And don't get me wrong, they have clubs where people are meant to be seen, but what I find really charming is that oftentimes when a new bar opens up, they have some little niche or some little thing that makes them different from all the other places. So it's one thing that I noticed a lot of here is that a lot of the bars have arcades in the back, or are some sort of a bar arcade fusion, which I think is cool. And when you're drunk and you put your change in the your dollars in the change machine to get quarters out so you can play this, it takes you back to the days of being in the arcade one, and who doesn't want to play freaking pinball machines drunk? It's a really fun time. So those are some things to do. I would also recommend for anybody coming here to take day cruises, go whale watching, hopping on the ferry up in like Vancouver, Washington to go over to British Columbia and making a day of it is completely fun. If you have a passport or an enhanced license, that's fun. The friends that I have made, I've been over to their places for interesting nights. I've never, as an adult, gone over to someone's house, had drinks, and played board games. I've done that with my friend who I work with a couple times, and we've had a blast, and I never thought to make a night of something like that when I was living in Georgia. More than anything else, I feel like I'm way more open-minded to things that I thought were ridiculous. And I like that I'm more open in that way. I hope this video helped, and I hoped that I touched on some of the things that make Seattle really cool. What I love is the fact that, like, I just up and decided to start a life here, and it wasn't that hard for me to just get that life started. And that for me means the world, when it's like you've been a mouse on this spinning wheel getting nowhere, and then you finally decide to hop off, and then things just start to take off. That, like the sky's the limit when you feel like when you feel like the momentum's there's life worth living. I don't feel stagnant at all. I'm not moving nearly at the pace I would like to, but we'll get there, But I like the fact that, like, we have slow motion. It's like that line in that Kanye song way back when. It's on the top of my head. But yeah, slow motion is always better than no motion. So yeah, I love it here, and I know I bitch about things a lot because I'm from out of town, and it's easy to do that. I remember, growing up in school, off the whole Seattle thing now, being in high school, and the kids that had moved down from New York, or the kids that were displaced because of Katrina, had everything to say about what Atlanta was lacking or missing because they were homesick. And same can be said for me. And it's going to be even more interesting now that I am in my second summer here. But yeah, Patrice, it's cool out here. You'll like it. It's cool. I think I answered that to the best of my ability. If not, you can definitely ask again, and we can fill in the holes. I hope this helped, and I'm gonna mope about my lens now till later. Peace, positive people.